A beautiful afternoon to you and welcome to Rubbin Minds. My name is Isabella Adediji. Now, it's just months away from the 2027 general elections, and a lot is to be said about how prepared the INEC is, how prepared the opposition parties are, and the ruling party. Nigerians, how prepared are you for Nigeria Decides 2027? What states, what areas will prove the real battleground for the votes? That seems to be seen. Joining me for this very important conversation is our resident analyst and lawyer in the person of Justice Ojieno. Welcome to Rubbin Minds.
Thank you very much for having me. It's my pleasure.
Thank you for honoring our invitation. As we count down to the 2027 general elections, how prepared are the political parties, in particular the opposition parties? Because we've seen quite a number of cross-carpeting where we see members of the opposition moving to the ruling party. So we can almost assume that their house is in order, but the opposition party, what would you make of them?
Okay, for the opposition parties, I think that the House significantly is not in order, and they still have a whole lot to do. When we are talking about opposition, by that we significantly mean, with all due respect to the others, we mean the ADC and the ADC. I almost said the PDP.
What about Labour Party? I mean, Labour Party won Lagos in the presidential elections. You're not even mentioning Labour Party.
It's unfortunate that Labour Party went exactly the way it went, and as at this time, before the last election, which was 2022, of course, Labour Party was still insignificant until Peter Obi came around. And of course, people needed to follow Peter Obi at the time because of the montage that we were seeing at the time, his participation on Mr. Pastor Kojo Days, the platform where he acted as a person of a politician with a difference. And that really, it went viral, and people just caught the frenzy, caught the bug, and felt like, oh, of all the politicians, no matter their party, this is a person that we will line up behind. And they indeed lined up behind him when he chose the Labour Party. He gave the Labour Party the imprimatur, the significance that he had post-election. And of course, when he went into the Labour Party, everybody went into the Labour Party with him and made Labour Party a party of significance. But today, of course, everything that happened between the Labour Party, the infusion of a person like Lamidi Apapa, and of course the likes again into other opposition parties. By that I mean Nafi Gombe into the ADC, and of course a Wike in the PDP is making us know that no matter what, the opposition, except they have their deals within themselves, except they have a fifth columnist adequately taken care of or altogether excised, there will always be problems, because no matter the next platform they try to go to, the Lamidi Apapas, the Nafi Gombes will still be implanted or be awoken from such parties.
So, I would like you to cast your mind back to the elections where the APC came together as a party. Do you see that repeating, where all these other parties, not just the ADC, the Labour Party, the PDP, the other parties all come together with one aim, which is to unseat the ruling party? Do you think, given the amount of months we have to the next elections, that can happen?
I think it is possible, but it is not exactly possible with the PDP as a platform, because it is almost, in fact, it is significantly dented with litigation, and it's not possible using the platform of the ADC because it's also significantly dented with litigation. So I feel that the only way that can actually happen is when if they can go to a third-party political platform that is not dented with all these fifth columnist intrusions and sponsorships by dare say the APC, that can actually really happen. So I feel that if the stalwarts that are making the ADC the party of significance live in droves, the people that are still in PDP, and even there are even no people in PDP in a manner of speaking. Even the chairman of the Governors Forum of the PDP, as of yesterday, is practically shopping for another political office. So if he were given the 60% of his party structure that he was asking for, maybe today we'll be talking about only Seyi Makinde in the PDP. So if the stalwarts within the PDP, the ADC, and the Labour Party decide to also move in droves and perform the miracle that we saw in the APC of 2015, I think that it is a significant miracle. But again, we must also remember that the incumbent at the time was a maximum gentleman in the person of Mr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Will it be able to be reinvented this time? I strongly know that the only way that can really happen is a miracle. And if all Nigerians, or a significant number of Nigerians, participate, put their apathy aside and participate in the elections, and indeed the votes are made to count.
Given the mass defection to the ruling party, the APC, would you say that that's a sign that Nigerians, by virtue of their elected representatives, are happy with this government and want that renewed hope continued? Okay,
I wish I could say so. In the face of or in the absence of what's called lawfare. Lawfare is when you decide to weaponize the instruments of state to be able to coerce politicians into your own fold. For example, if the EFCC is not using its power of investigation. I'm not saying prosecution now, because Section 308 of our Constitution says that sitting governors cannot be prosecuted. Sitting governors and deputy governors, president and vice president may not be prosecuted while they are seated in office. But a case like the case of, I think it's IMB and Tinubu, the court actually said that the EFCC can investigate a politician, a person that is covered by Section 308 immunity while they are in office, but they may not be prosecuted. But if people know that lawfare will be waged against them, if governors know that lawfare will be waged against them, they will, like dominoes, do the bidding of the APC. So I feel that lawfare is one significant reason, except we are playing the ostrich and hiding our head under a rock and saying lawfare is not one of it. Lawfare is significantly one of it. That's number one. Number two is the fact that, yes, they want patronage, they want automatic tickets. They also feel that during the elections, the machinery of state can be used to coerce and secure votes for them, or even manipulate votes on their behalf. And Ekiti State is a very, very prime example of that during the time of Mr. Ayodele Fayose. So if we know that these are in place, we may not be able to a la carte say that, the fact that a political office holder like the governor is defecting is a reflection of the people. There was no consultation with the people, largely. They just thought about their personal political interest in the light of the political environment. That was what informed their movement. I do not sincerely, for the life of me, think that it is what the Nigerian people in their own neck of the wood actually wanted.
So what would you be expecting from the APC government going into these elections to capture the hearts, maybe not so much the governors who are defecting, but the hearts of Nigerians to win an election free and fair?
Okay, for me, I think that they have to do right by the people. They have to maybe disabuse the minds of naysayers like some of us who have seen enough to have been able to become of this opinion and of this orientation that they are not playing fair. They have to do right by the people, actually deliver on the deliverables that they promised the Nigerian people. Can we have free and fair elections this time? If we cannot even have this time, can you amend the Electoral Act 2026, maybe on your way out, 2026, and let us actually have e-voting. Let our votes at the polling units actually reflect immediately at the collation centers without there being some intervention, miraculous interventions in between that perform miracles against the will of the people. If we can have that, and if we can have the basic things that the Nigerians are asking for, can you provide food? Can you kill inflation or deflate inflation? Can you provide infrastructure? And this time, not just physical infrastructure, social infrastructure. If you provide some of these things, Nigerians are not blind, Nigerians are not insensitive. If they see, they will react. They will know that, oh, this government, maybe on its way out, actually did right by them, and they will be able to, of their own volition, now vote them into power the next time they are vying and requesting for their franchise. But it shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be in a situation where the opposition is almost completely eviscerated. The ADC is still calling itself an opposition, but there's a court decision that practically almost prevented the convention. They still went ahead with the convention. And we know the Ibadan convention poison, as I choose to call it. It can also kill whatever it is that they have done in this convention. So if that were to be the case, we effectively will not have any opposition, because the PDP is not an opposition. The Labour Party is still having significant infighting amongst them. So just imagine, as at 2022, at this time, we still had PDP. We still had the Labour Party. If Atiku and Obi in some shape or form had come together, it would not have been the present president.
Speaking of Atiku and Obi, do you see that as a viable candidature? And would you say that Nigerians are expecting these two to throw their hats into the ring?
I may not be able to hold brief for an Atiku and Obi combination of collage or presidency. And the major reason why is because I didn't know. I supported Buhari in 2015. But I didn't know that it was going to turn out the way it turned out. And I'm not going to hold brief for any such combination. If it were an excised Obi, I might have been able to take a position. But if it's an Atiku and Obi, it's going to be a bit difficult. And if it's going to be an Atiku and Obi, we already know the person who is going to be on top of the ticket. It's going to be a reinvention of 2019. In 2019, it was Atiku and Obi. But this time, they were going against a Buhari. And of course, free and fair elections were not allowed, because as a member of the legal profession, I saw the suffering that the Chief Justice of Nigeria went through when the houses of justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria were raided in a Gestapo manner. And of course, it was impossible for maybe Atiku and Obi to win the election, even through the judiciary, if even it was brazenly stolen at the polls. So if that were to be the situation, then it's going to be an Atiku on top of the ticket and an Obi at the bottom of the ticket. I honestly cannot say whether it will be better than this present administration. I honestly do not have an opinion on that.
I'm sure the city boys and the village boys will probably have opinions on how the election should play out. But it's important that we bring INEC into this conversation, because a lot of eyes are on INEC to deliver free and fair elections that are transparent, where the processes can be verified by all, to see that the votes of Nigerians count and to reduce the voter apathy. How would you rate the preparation of the INEC going into the 2027 elections? Okay,
for me, I think that at some point, some of the fault may be theirs and some of the fault may not be theirs. And one of the ways that they can be weaponized against is by not funding them the way they ought to be funded, or they are requesting to be funded. And again, can you blame the Nigerian government? INEC has not done right by the Nigerian people, especially pursuant to the last election. The last election was one of the greatest shows of shame of an electoral umpire. And when it comes to international funding too, the funding that they got at the last election, was it justified? The EU that funded them a lot, aside from the government, came out, the jury was out, and they said that the election was not free and fair and wasn't properly conducted. So I feel that from the Nigerian, on the Nigerian front, if they are funded well, maybe they will do well by the Nigerian people. Maybe from international organizations, maybe they will do right by the Nigerian people. But they have had a first bite at the apple. We saw the Abuja elections, the local government elections that happened in Abuja. The residents of Abuja, I'm not a resident of Abuja, the residents of Abuja are of the opinion, and staunchly so, that wasn't free and fair. So if the present INEC SAR already has that as his first report card, and I feel that it's a negative one. I also talk in light of the fact that opposition too, they've gone to town. Some have asked for his resignation, especially when it came to the decision that he gave based on his own interpretation of what status quo antebellum actually meant. I felt that I'm also of the opinion that he ought not to, INEC as an organization, ought not to have decided in the way it decided. He ought to have gone for an elucidation of what the Court of Appeal actually meant by status quo antebellum, and not saying to the opposition that the court has accelerated hearing, that they should approach the court for accelerated hearing, and conveniently forgetting the fact that whether you go for accelerated hearing or you don't go for accelerated hearing, appellate decisions, a litigant has a right, is as of right. You have a right to appeal. So if you tell me to go back to the lower court for an accelerated hearing, and I go back to the appellate court, I will just, if I lose at the lower court, I will conveniently bring a motion of stay of execution, bring my notice of appeal, bring motion for stay of execution before I file the necessary briefs at the appeal court, and that will take some time. And if I have to exhaust all the court processes in Nigeria, maybe I will get a final decision on the other side of the election. And that makes it a totally and absolutely a useless endeavor. So I understand very well if ADC is saying that they are not exploring that route.
I think we need to also look at some of the states or areas in the country that, in your opinion, should the opposition get their act together, will provide, I'll say, swing states that will be deciders of these elections. A lot of times, all eyes are on Kano, Kaduna, Rivers State, with what has happened with the governor, Lagos State, the Southeast as a bloc. Which of these areas or states do you think will significantly decide the outcome of the elections?
Lagos, because it's the most populated. It's the lowest hanging fruit. And
you say Lagos, but I mean Lagos didn't vote for the APC, and the APC is in government now.
Yeah, of course. One swing state doesn't determine all. The swing state significantly switches the pendulum to a large extent in a particular direction or another. So I feel that if they had gotten a combination of Lagos, Kano, Kaduna, and maybe Rivers, I'm not even talking about all the other states now, including the Southeast as a bloc, I think the election would have been this. In fact, I dare say that if they only got Rivers, if Labour Party only got Rivers, we wouldn't be having this, we'll be having another kind of conversation. But somehow, I still cannot see what exactly happened with Rivers. So I think we should just leave it at that and not prog too much. So I feel that if these four can be made to align, it's going to be a one-horse race, essentially. And I say because as a person that has also lived in Kano a bit, a lot of people don't know how pervasive Kwankwaso is in Kano. He's an ideology. He's almost a religion. If he made himself into a god, some people in Kano will worship him in a manner of speaking.
And so, if he should end up on the ballot?
Yeah, he's proposing, I think he's proposing to be on the ballot. Yeah, I think there's a significant and extended conversations between him and Peter Obi. And if that had happened earlier, maybe we would also not have been having this conversation. I think some of this permutation is the reason why Wike kept praising Peter Obi and kept saying that he thanks God for Peter Obi, because if Peter Obi were not in the election, the present president would not have been in office. So I feel that if Kano goes a particular way, Lagos may be a challenge, because one of the major reasons why Lagos went the way it went was because they took it for granted. And I don't think that the APC, the governor, the president will take it for granted this time. Whatever battle that was faced at the last election, there's going to be much more. that will be faced during this election. I also pray that the opposition has a viable candidate so that voter apathy will not be a significant wrench in the wheel. This time, I pray that the frenzy is brought back up, because one of the things that really gave Peter Obi the right that he had, and of course Atiku the right that he had, was the frenzy at the time in various necks of the wood to deliver those places for them. So Kano, Lagos, if Kwankwasia can deliver, if Kwankwaso can deliver Kano, if Peter Obi can reinvent the wheel and do Lagos, of course Kaduna is in play because of some people are in El Rufai's camp and other people are in APC. Rivers State. Rivers State, I'm saying a big because I've not even seen the kind of political abracadabra that is happening in Rivers State in the history of this country. And I beg the students of political science to to make it a thesis how that a person of PDP extraction can be the political leader in the APC state. I think there's something there for people who are studying political science to study how the president actually made that happen. So I feel that if the votes of people in Rivers State can be made to count, and Kano and Lagos, I think that the president will really, really have a ride for his money. And I'm happy that we are doing this permutation as though we are in the US.
It's
where they are talking about
the permutations, because I've heard an OB, I've heard a Kwakanso, I've not heard an article, but time will tell when we get the final declarations and see who ends up on the ballots. Thank you very much, Justice Ojieno, and we hope to see you again on Rubbin Minds.
It will always be my pleasure. Thank you.
We'll go on a quick break on Rubbin Minds. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Rubbin Minds. Now, if you've been on the streets of social media in the past week, you would have seen a woman come out to review bread that stayed fresh, allegedly, for 2 months, questioning the freshness, the use of preservatives, and just how a validity period of 2 months can be for something that ordinarily will go bad in a couple of days. Now, we've seen a bakery come out to file a defamation case against this woman. They're asking for 500 million naira, and they are claiming that due to her review, it has messed up business for them. And it just brings up the questions around the law. Where do we draw the line between publicly expressing our views, asking for accountability, and also not damaging the reputation of a business? I'm going to see the video now. You're going to see it on the screen of this review that happened, and you can see where the woman is reviewing the bread. And I mean, people come online every time to talk about their experiences with their favorite products and services, sometimes positive, sometimes not. And you're wondering, where is freedom of speech? Where is the law? Joining me for this very important conversation is a lawyer. But first, we'll see the video of this review. Please take a look.
If you love bread too much, start baking your bread. Something is wrong with our breads. You see this bread? I pray their name is not showing because they don't have a conscience. Does it mean they won't come after? This bread has been 2 months on my shelf. It still feels fresh. It smells fresh. If they bring it back today, there is a new bread I'm going to buy. Normally, when I keep bread and I don't sell for 2 days, when they come, they replace it. And this particular bread, they've been asking after it. I sourced them out and they supplied. I even tested it. I'm not a fan of bread though, but I must be honest with you. This bread tastes really, really good. No wonder people are addicted to it. This particular one now, I didn't finish selling. I was waiting for when they will come so that they can replace it. They didn't come. I called. They didn't pick. So I kept the bread. It's been here for 2 months. I'm not even lying. I was telling my girl that there could be dangerous chemicals in this thing, and she was like, I didn't know it was a thing until I went online, started seeing review. People are talking about bread that lasted for 2-3 months, even 1 year. And it's not only in Nigeria. You know our thing, when it reaches us, people go do and pass levels. This bread, I seriously pray that their name is not showing. still want to see my grandchildren. Siko? Siba? You see the bread? Feels fresh, looks fresh. I can still smell the butter in this bread. 2 months bread. Share before bread 2 days has spoiled. Whatever is in this thing is not healthy. And that is why you will hear that somebody was having headache in the morning and in the evening. Oh, Otilo. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Michael Jackson was right. They want to just destroy our lungs. Bread lovers. Guys, at this point, if...
Yeah, we've seen the video, and I don't know if you could see the name of the bakery or the manufacturers in that video, and that's, I think, where the contention really comes in with how much did she expose the business and how much was it just stating her experience as a shop owner who has had this bread for over about 2 months. Joining me for this very important conversation is a lawyer in the person of Omotoyosi Rahim. Welcome to Rubbin Minds. I'm sure you saw that video, and was anything going through your mind like, is she breaking the law? Should she have done something differently? I mean, did you see the name of the bakery or the manufacturer in that video?
Okay. Watching that video, I cannot, the name is not conspicuous, I can't see it. And every consumer has a right to get value for what they purchase and ensure that it is their right to get value, aside from value, something that would not be of damage to their health, especially when it comes to food. So now, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission and the FCCPA, that's the Act, it guarantees that anything being sold to consumers must maintain a particular standard. And if truly this allegation is right, she ordinarily, under the law, she does not have she does not have any liability, because this is a consumer genuinely expressing her own experience.
So does the law guarantee you the right to express your view or give a review of a product, or has she done anything to break the law just watching that video?
Yes, the law guarantees freedom of expression, and like I said, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act also guarantees that a person who is dissatisfied with whatever products they purchase can make complaints and even approach the commission with such. This kind of video could even lead to an investigation to whatever bakery produced that bread. In this instance, because the name obviously is not conspicuous, they could contact her to give them the name, and they investigate, and after investigation they take proper steps afterwards. So I would say she has not done anything to violate the law, and if the company also wants to slam her with a lawsuit, she also has the right to defend herself and demand for compensation.
You know, some people will say it's good that you give feedback online, but what about the reputation of the business? Must you do it online? Can you not approach them directly and express your fears and your concerns? I mean, in this video, she said she tried reaching them and she couldn't get through to them, but should there have been a different way to seek redress, maybe going to the commission as opposed to going online?
Okay, so we live in a digital world right now, and so many things can be expressed in different ways. If you ask me, if this review was a good review, would they have said they do not want it online? If they can answer that correctly, then you can't say a consumer should express how they feel about a particular product in a certain way. So, no.
So she's well within her rights. Now, for her that has received this, allegedly this suit, is the next line of action for her to be going to contact lawyers or coming out to defend herself online, calling on Nigerians? Because we've seen in the past where things get really messy, from someone reviewing a product and then the owners of the products are very high up there and are able to maybe manipulate the situation, and then the person almost regrets coming out and their security is threatened.
Okay, I understand. Firstly, that is why everyone must have a lawyer in their corner. Now, she needs to contact her lawyer. Then also, it doesn't necessarily have to be with, being accompanied with a lawyer to go to the commission. You can approach the commission as a consumer. However, going with your lawyer, it puts you in a better position, right words, how to structure what you want to say and everything. So she approached the commission. This is what happened, this is the product, this is it, I posted this video, I never mentioned the name and all of that. And then, like I said, the commission investigates, and the lawsuit, they would most likely invite the bakery that is also slamming out with the lawsuit. So then, firstly, before you even proceed to lawsuits, I believe there are certain, this is a civil case, so there are certain way to approach it before it escalates further.
So do you see this as maybe a scare tactic, just to quiet or maybe to bring down the video? Because people are watching this and they're probably going to think, let me not go and review or say anything bad before next thing, 500 million naira they're asking me to pay. And look at this woman, she even hid the packaging in such a way that you can't even see the name of the brand.
Okay, so it's a bit dicey. It's two-way, because we could say it's scare tactic, but if she stands firm, like I said, if she consults a lawyer and, express everything that you give your lawyer everything in details, and the lawyer takes it from there. Law is not, how do I put it? It's not unreasonable. There's a process. There's precedent. So there's a way to go about it. So if she does the right thing by contacting the lawyer, and if she cannot afford a lawyer, she can even approach the commission, and the commission will provide one for her.
So it's important to know your rights and
Exactly.
to know what's available to you. Now, in the defense of the bakery is that, names of bakeries were mentioned in her comment section, and then she liked this name. So is that something showing like, okay, I'm liking this comment because it's consent, like, yes, this is the Erin Bakery. Can she be sued for liking a comment that mentions the handle of the bakery or the name of the bakery?
Okay. For now, I do not believe, or I'm not aware of any case study that says that, or like there's any precedent. In law, there's what we call case laws. Like when a particular matter has been decided, there is a precedent that is being followed. That is a case. Let's say this case went XYZ. So if the case coming behind it is also going XYZ, they use XYZ first as the precedent. So in this instance, I've not heard any Nigerian court deciding a matter that is that consent is arising based on likes on any social media platform. I've not heard of such, and I don't know if this will be the first.
So yeah, okay to like comments. It doesn't mean anything. You could choose to like all your comments, or you could choose to like a particular comment. I think, like you said, there's no case precedence to say where this would go. But what you've established is that she's well within her right to express her satisfaction or dissatisfaction online, and she did take steps to ensure that the brand was protected. Now, other brands that are watching this, do you think they'll be emboldened to silence the voices of critics?
I do not agree with that, because every day, not even in only bread instance, we get to see different people coming to express both satisfaction and dissatisfaction online. So if the brands are wanting to go a certain way, they put themselves in at disadvantage, I would say, in the sense that if you do not want your brand to be mentioned, how do you even want to grow in the first place? So now, you want product reviews, you would get the bad and the good. So that is what it's all about.
Does she need to approach the commission before the commission gets involved, or the fact that it's already on social media, there's a lawsuit allegedly, and there's all this furor around it, is that enough to get the commission involved in this? Because at the end of the day, Nigerians are hoping that they don't find themselves eating bread that can last for 2 months, or buying bread from a store that has been sitting on the shelves for 2 months.
To be fair, I've not seen this video. I use social media to be very fair. I've not seen it. This is my first encounter with this particular video. So I wouldn't say that the commission is, I can't say for now that they are aware that something like this, and I can't say also that they are not aware. So if at this stage, we are seeing that they have not approached her, or she has not come in any way to say that, oh, she has gotten like any contact from the commission. Let's assume that they have not contacted her. So she'd do it.
Okay. We'll like to speak to a bakery consultant who can speak to the bread of the matter in this case, and why it's lasting for 2 months and what the implications are. We're joined by Philip Akinshende. Philip, welcome to Rubbin Minds. Philip, would like to get your views on the bread. Should bread last for 2 months? And just viewing the video, as a bakery consultant, is it even possible for a loaf of bread to last for 2 months? Please unmute and speak. Philip, I'm not sure if you got that, but please would like you to unmute and then respond to the question on the bread lasting for 2 months. Is that possible? And what are the health implications of preservatives that can keep a loaf of bread looking fresh, smelling fresh, according to the review, for 2 months? Our bakery consultant, Philip, will be joining this conversation. So, Philip, if you can just unmute and respond to the question, that would be really good. All right, we'll try to get Philip again. We're really interested to hear his views when it comes to how long bread should last. I don't know. I mean, we all eat bread, and I think after 3 to 5 days, depending on the conditions, whether it's really stuffy or hot or humid or stored in the fridge or in a cool place, it starts to grow mold. So, I mean, what has been your experience eating bread, and how long has bread lasted maybe in your pantry?
I agree with you. So I'm not really a bread lover. However, I've eaten certain brands of bread, and I'm aware of the fact that once a bread stays on the counter or in the fridge for a number of days, it starts, giving some sort of, based on the ingredients that are used. And if you see a particular bread lasting for 2 months, I believe it is a real cause of concern. And you need to inform the public about such. And in my opinion, aside from the lawsuit or no lawsuit, this kind of video is supposed to have gotten the commission's attention, so they, take steps to gather information, investigate, and know what is being present in that particular bread that is making it last so long. Is it going to have health implications on the citizens of Nigeria and all of that? Because it is the well-being of the citizens that determine the productivity that comes out of it. So yeah, it's a cause of concern, like I said. So the commission's attention should be drawn to it as soon as possible, so the right steps will be taken.
Thank you very much, Omotoyosi Rahim, for your contributions, and I hope that what you've said will encourage people to continue to express their views.
Thank you.
We'll go on a quick break now on Rubbin Minds. Please don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Rubbin Minds. Now, for our final segment, we look at pranks. Growing up in the noughties, April Fool was a thing. I don't know if these Gen Zs are still on April Fool, but on the streets of social media, you could be deceived that April Fool happened every day and not just the 1st of April, with the number of prank videos and the virality that they gain. But where is the line being crossed when it's no longer content, but is actually hurting and causing unrest and disability and just making people very unstable? Like, where do we draw the line when it comes to our prank videos? Joining me is a social commentator, Abdul Ogundipe. Welcome to Rubbin Minds.
Thank you very much again. It's a pleasure, Isabella.
Thank you for honoring our invitation. Now, I don't know about you, but what are your earliest memories of prank? I mean, before they became a thing on the internet, were you also the April Fool kind? Have you pulled a prank yourself? Do you still prank?
I mean, definitely. I mean, it's one of the wonders that make, living very interesting, pulling those very funny jokes, perhaps on your parents, on teachers, on some of your school colleagues and things like that. Yes, pranks are, just those little spice that you add
Care
to
to
life.
share?
Do I remember anyone? I'll probably say, the way your parents will tell you, go and wear your slippers. You're going to accompany me to this party, but then by the time you get back, you see that they've probably deserted you. It's a form of prank, right? When you think about it, those things where
Wow, you just threw parents under the bus.
I mean,
Okay. I mean, look at the prank happening here. This is a prank video, and there's a market scene.
Mm-hmm.
Have you come across this video before?
Well, I haven't seen.
I mean, someone pretending
to be blind.
Mm.
Well, I haven't seen this actual clip, but I've seen some others. There was this lady who not too long ago who would go into markets and then just start screaming lyrics of different music, and then you would think, something was actually wrong with her upstairs, but actually it was just a prank. Right, and
it's interesting you use that example and this one where we're looking at disability and disability used to create entertainment. This is someone who is pretending to be blind, and there's someone who is pretending to have mental health issues to cause
stare.
Like, yeah, for what? For educative purposes, for entertainment purposes, to be popular, to be viral, to get money. What's the end goal here? And where do you feel the line should be drawn when it's no longer content, but it's actually crossing the line? Because I don't know how someone who's visually impaired would take this kind of prank, or someone who actually suffers from mental health
issues.
Yes.
Well, I feel the comic relief that it provides sort of balances it out. When you think about it, from the clip we can see now, you're seeing somebody who's dropping some cash, and then there's people who are trying to make away with it, and then you see a snake just automatically pop out of nowhere. That's the fun in it, right? But when it begins to cross the line of things that have to do, you can see this clip where somebody actually discarded their valuables because of it.
I mean, some pranks are very extreme and can even result into accidents, and we pray not, but death. I mean, don't you think that some pranks should be abolished? Like, this is no longer a prank. You're endangering someone's life. Or so far as it makes us laugh and it goes viral, it's all good.
Well, I think that's where the word expensive jokes come in, right? You need to know how much value your joke. You shouldn't make too much of an expensive joke where, see that lady who just discarded a crate of eggs because she thought she had seen a snake or things like that. Those are things one has to be very, very wary about, because no matter what you're doing, even if you're trying to prank people, even if you're trying to make people laugh, you shouldn't do it to cause unrest for the people. On the other side of the divide is now where you think about where you've premeditated it and told the people who are there. It doesn't give you that real touch that would actually, make the content you want to, whatever you're producing, go viral. So it's just to find that sweet in the middle spot where you can, deliver the punch.
So I hear you drawing the line on what's costly, but who is paying the cost? Now, there's the prankster who is aiming for virality, entertainment, comic relief, but there are the people who are being co-opted into this prank without their permission, and all of a sudden they're being shown on the internet. I mean, what happens to privacy? What happens to reputation? At whose reputational damage is this coming at? Like, yes, you've gone viral, but are you thinking about yes,
whose cost?
At whose cost?
Yes, and I think that's a very, very interesting one that you bring it up, because there's the GDPR, Global Data Protection Rights, that makes sure that you should not just use people's content or images or face or names without actually speaking to them. And which is one of the things, I think we could just make a case for it, that people should make U-turns or just take a step back whenever you're about to do things like this. You should not do this without people's consent or just making a fool of people and then recording it and publishing it on the internet without people actually being...
But, I mean, it won't be a prank if you took permission.
That's exactly what it is.
It won't be a prank. But, okay, let's say you can't take permission because
you want
chances are they won't agree and you won't get the desired effect. But after you've done the prank video, should you go back to the people involved to say, look, I pranked you, I want to upload it online, and if it makes money, here's your cut? Or, yeah, like, should we be having such conversations?
Definitely, those conversations should happen because the person whom you're filming should know that in case she sees herself on the internet, in case she becomes an internet sensation tomorrow, she should know that it was because of this very incident. You don't just want people becoming popular on the internet without knowing where it's coming from. So I think those are the little steps that we can take to just bridge that gap.
Do you think the laws, the police, the internet police are doing enough to protect people from being pranked? Because, I mean, 1 minute you're losing money, like all the eggs on the floor. Yeah. That's money to feed someone's family. Definitely. That's someone's livelihood. Another minute you're causing despair or you're trivializing someone's illness or someone's disability. So do you think enough has been done, or are Nigerians actually demanding for more prank content?
So if you think about it on the broadest spectrum of it, on the one hand, or the largest part is where you can imagine somebody who's hypertensive, right? And then you go ahead and prank such a person. What do you expect will happen? Obviously, the person is definitely going to perhaps react in a certain way, and it could even lead to death. Right, so those are things that one has to be very, very, very careful in dealing with. But then, on the other hand, I mean, the virality and the fun that it evokes is just to balance it out, to know, is this as interesting enough for me to want to continue to, distort people's days, their activities, and does it give me as much? Does it give people enough satisfaction while still keeping things sane? Right, yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
I think if one puts themselves in the shoes of the person being pranked and is honest enough, then maybe some of these prank videos won't happen because the cost is just way too
high. No doubt.
Your final verdict, for pranks or against pranks?
Well, I'm in between because
in between. You're neither hot nor cold.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, the jury is not yet out on pranks, but if you want to follow the conversation online on anything we've discussed, to find us using the hashtag Rubbin Minds. My name is Isabella Adedeji. Do have a great afternoon.